He wouldn't even thought twice about this shit. He ain't make a big deal of the goddamn
do
thing.
business.
Nah, nigga, you got to listen to mine.
Want to talk about this now?
And look, if nosy ass Shirley heard the shots, then the cops is probably on the way now.
God damn.
So now, what you gonna do?
Fuck.
Huh?
Me and Jerome gonna load up the bodies, drive them out, bury them. You two, stay here, clean this shit up. Sun rises, this never happened.
I'm with that shit. Come on.
This shit is fucking crazy.
Now, what will make Peaches take $5 million away from Franklin? Well, let's take a moment to understand Peaches. He's an interesting character. He's quiet, precise, discreet. We understand he have a military background. One thing about men like Peaches, most silent men carry the trait of being loyal. Mainly because being silent, you're forced to look at things more than other people that's normally running their mouth, like yours truly. When you're silent, you see what doesn't supposed to be seen because you spend most of your time watching people. And this is what makes the character of Peaches so interesting. I mean, he pretty much dipped before the war started, and it makes somebody like me wonder who he would have picked, which side would he would have picked. I mean, he was brought in by Jem and Jerome, Uncle Rome, but he ended up being close to Franklin. And I don't mean close like relationship. I mean close like he was his muscle. He was his security. He went everywhere he went. Because, I mean, hell, Jerome don't really need that type of security. And I do like to think that with Peaches coming into the organization, he began to allow Jerome to truly become the boss that he always wanted without actually being the muscle, because he was the alpha male of the whole organization. Now with a strong arm like Peaches, Jerome can actually become more flamboyant, more relaxed, more Jerome. But back to Peaches. Peaches is interesting. He doesn't come across as an idiot. You know, most quiet characters, they make them, you know, imbeciles. You know what I mean? Don't understand how to put a sentence together. That's not really Peaches. You can tell in his facial expression, he have an opinion and he understands fully of what's going on. He just chooses not to voice his opinion. He shows restraint. And that's what makes his character so interesting. If we would have got more dialogue out of him, there's no telling what he would have probably picked up on. But the question at hand is, what made a man like Peaches, poised, loyal, cross his family? Because understand this, he was putting his life on the line for these people. So I would presume that he looked at them as family. But here's where it gets a little interesting. White Boy Rob. Now, Peaches was there since the beginning, so it would have been nothing for him to begin to view White Boy Rob also as family, because he was also a part of the organization. And if we're being honest, he was an essential part of the beginning. White Boy Rob got hooked on crack. He was already experimenting with other drugs. And I believe that Peaches was also experimenting on other drugs. I mean, most people that came from the military around that time were so traumatized that they needed something to take the edge off. So it wasn't out of the norm for the army guys of that time to be hooked on heroin or whatever drugs of that time. So I do believe that Peaches was already taking something to take the edge off. That's really interesting to me. I believe Peaches was running away from something. no family, no sister, no brother. We didn't really hear about none of that. And we find out the final season, we get a little glimpse of what Peaches was going through. And I do believe he was running away from something. So was that the reason he chose to take this $5 million? And why at this time, when things was really unraveling? Let's go back to what I said. Men like Peaches are silent, so they see things that everyday people don't get a chance to see because they pay attention. And I believe Peaches knew things was unraveling, but that still doesn't make sense of what will make a man like Peaches take that type of money at that moment. I got the answer.
It's gotta be out here somewhere.
What it look like?
I think it's like a bright spot with a tail behind it.
Tail.
I think I read it was supposed to be in the southern sky. That way.
Oh, wow. I think I see it.
Yeah.
Where?
It's right there. See? Just beyond that.
Peaches and Rob both got hooked on crack. And I just can't believe or can't even picture two crackheads not realizing the other's on crack. I mean, it only makes sense, right? Rob or Peaches had to realize the other's using. Like, clearly, like as the viewer, we realized Peaches was using before the robbery. We seen different things, the cough, he was different, hair braided back, facial expressions just really off, more relaxed. So we seen a difference in the Peaches character. We seen this difference in Rob's character, who's always been a tragedy out this whole series, but I digress. It get interesting when they was digging the graves. So we all know the story. Rob ran his mouth to another white boy, and the white boy got cocky, and the white boy shot someone because he felt like he was also a gangster because he knew information he shouldn't have never known. And in that process, Franklin orders white boy Rob to shoot his friend, kill him dead. But because of this, he also wanted him to go and get cleaned up. He was sending him to rehab. And when Franklin said it to Peaches, you got to look at Peaches' face. It was sympathy in Peaches' face, but it was like relief. Why? And at this very moment, leading up to them digging his grave, while Peaches is digging up the grave, your man Franklin pull a fast one. One in white boy's Rob head. Now, but to this point, they have been like brothers. Definitely like brothers. Again, white boy Rob played a central role in how Franklin took over. I want to say Rob introduced Franklin to Ivy. We got to do a video about their relationship. I believe Peaches seen himself in Rob at that very moment. Because anybody who Franklin wanted to kill, he ran it by the person he was paying to do the killing. So for him to do this, that means he thought about it and he acted personally, which is kind of out of Franklin's character. But at the same time, it's Franklin's character. I believe that startled Peaches. And not much can startle Peaches, but that showed him that the organization is unraveling. But it also showed him, as a person that's using crack, if he could do that to him, what you think he'd do to me? And I believe that's when Peaches decided, I need an exit plan. I don't think Peaches was as sharp as he used to be at this point. I think time was weighing on him. And I think we were seeing a man true demise happen in front of our very eyes. And when men are silent, because you don't know what they're thinking 98% of the time, you may not know when they're self-destructing also, because you don't see their demons like you see others. Silent men you have to watch just as much as they're watching you, especially if they play a big part of your success. You have to force them to reveal their thoughts. Now you ain't gonna get all of it, but you will get what you need to know where this person at mentally. Nobody ever did that with Peaches. I thought he was quiet, he was cool, well, we cool. But I think Peaches was going through something. And when he seen that, that was letting him know it's time to get the hell out of here. I ain't one of them, and they obviously are becoming something different.
Have my perspective, character analysis, or commentary provided any thought?
To do whatever it
like,
takes.
comment, and subscribe. Join the conversation.
Promise.
Diverse universe.